What's up? What's up? It's DieselDonlow here. Welcome to Muse State Podcast Season 2, Episode 2.5. I got a wonderful guest today, and she's one of the best people I've ever seen around our area. She has a good heart, good message, and I'm going to introduce her. Her name is Alexandra Butta, and go ahead.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So today we're going to talk about, last episode was about quarter to a dollar, 5 to a 10. In this episode, we're going to continue to talk about that. But I brought her in because I like her mindset. I like the way she's, doing things in life. I like her message. So, just tell us, about your message and, what you are about.
Yeah, so you said positivity. My message is definitely positivity. It's positivity in your mindset and exuding positivity to others, because I feel like that really creates for a good environment. I feel like people feed off of each other, and bringing your own drive and motivation in your own life and bringing that to the public, I believe, is a great way to continue vibes for others, and everyone builds each other up in that way.
So they don't know that you went to, Canfield High School.
Yes, I did.
And that's the worst high school in the world. So we're just going to say
Stop that.
We got to say that. We got to get that out there right now. That
I have Canfield pride.
It's Poland Seminary all day, every day. So I have to make sure we got
it out there.
We got it out there. So a lot of people want to know who you are. Like, what's like, things you do, like, what's your brand, what's your message, and on Instagram you talk about, challenges people face, and also you talk about, obstacles and going over the hump. So what is that about? Like, how can you relate that to a quarter to a dollar? Even though we're talking about that might mean money, but that still means life principles as well. Like the basics. How do you...
Building blocks.
Building blocks, yes.
So unfortunately, my positivity kind of started in a very dark place. I had some struggles. I was very sick. I had anorexia, and I kind of got a kick in the butt and had to start from rock bottom again, as far as my mindset and my physicality. So, my brand, my story didn't start out as a good one, but I put my struggles in the forefront, and I feel like others can learn from it. And I feel like you really have to own your struggles and put them out there, because it benefits others, just as, showing your own positivity brings out the good in others. Showing your own struggles might help others see where their flaws lie and how to improve themselves as well.
And to continue that, I was going to ask you, like, we've been around teammates. You're an athlete yourself. She was a swimmer in college in her whole life, and I played basketball. You guys know that. But, we have teammates out there that, you have to adapt to their environment sometimes. And did you have like a situation in college, high school, that you had a teammate that was not focused on the journey of your team, and like they were just like not like on it? They weren't trying to be at practice on time, or they were drinking before the night or before the games, or playing around, whatever, anything you could think of.
In college athletics, that happens all too often, unfortunately. People, lose sight of their priorities, and you want to have a balance, but then again, you also have to keep your first priorities first. And there were times in college, girls would show up late to morning practice, or show up, a little bit hungover, or whatever that may be. And you got to say it in the right way, and you have to be kind, but you got to check people on their stuff. And that's not, and I'm not one for confrontation, but I'm one for honesty, and I'm one for helping others improve. And really the only way is to just set people aside and use kindness and see things from their perspective. But ultimately it's, you know, improving one another. And if I lost sight of my priorities, I would surely want someone to tell me that.
Right. We got to have, someone holding you accountable, even through your walk with the Lord too.
That's right.
You got to have, some guidance in there. And I was going to ask, what was your mindset like through the gym? Like, I want to talk about like, how did you try to lift, or how do you try to lift anybody up, like through fitness? How do you try to lift people up through that, fitness? Like,
yeah. And fitness, unfortunately, isn't, always black and white. I mean, the ultimate goal is to have health and ward off awful diseases that come with a sedentary lifestyle. But a lot of people do it to, achieve a certain weight or achieve a certain physique, but it's not always all black and white. So in the end of the day, you kind of have to remind yourself the point of why you're attempting to be active, the point of why you are in the gym. And like I said, ultimately that's to lengthen your life and improve the quality of your life. And so, yeah, lift each other up, get your heart rate up, move and groove, but don't be so hard on yourself. You're already at the gym, you're being active. Don't lose sight of the reason you're there and the ultimate goals.
So what are some, like, how on social media I always say meat and potatoes. I don't know, like, what you view that as and how you receive it, like perception. But if you can share, like, what is your meat and potatoes? Like, mine's is the fundamentals of everything.
Yeah.
Meat and potatoes is like the absolutely core of like whatever I do. So through the shirts over here, like I had to learn how to sell a shirt, make a shirt, who's going to buy the shirt, is the quality good? Like I had to learn like all like the how to sell a shirt, like how to find a brand that match mine, all this other stuff. And what's some meat and potatoes, philosophies or things you do that's like, that fundamental, like your fundamentals? Like
my fundamentals are probably based on education. I educate myself, but then I also look to other experts. I look to absorb as much as I can. So my personal meat and potatoes, as you say, comes from a bunch of other people. I mean, I just take in all that I can, and I'm a sponge, and I vibe off other people, or I take from them what I can get to improve myself and improve what I'm doing. So ultimately, someone can look to me as that go-to person.
So I know you like to work and you work hard, and you said in our other segment that your dad was, that guy that worked hard. For me, it was my dad's best friend. So my dad worked hard too, but like I didn't learn how to work hard till I really like I never had to work. I never had to work, and until after college, I'm like, oh shoot, it's time to work. And the first couple of weeks we would go to work, and I had to pick him up, and I didn't get there on time. One time, I got there like 3 minutes after. He was like, "I told you need to be here on time.
For it.
Yeah, you need to be here on time. So we got to get the coffee." You know how he talks about dad's friend, but that was like a part of my life that taught me how to work hard. So and working hard is not just like, it's not even like. People like ask me all the time, like, what does that mean? Like, what does work hard mean? I just, and I say like, you just put everything into it. Like you work like every day is your last. You put so much effort into it, but you can't like burn yourself out either. And I had to learn that, and I'm still going through it. And are you going through anything that similar or? Yeah,
I think I've told you before that people use, it's like a frustration of mine, but people sit around and have, coffee conversation or dinner conversation, and it's a competition of who is busier. And it's just, I had so much to do. I worked 14 hours today. I think I worked 16 hours today. And that's not the depiction of a hard worker. The amount of stuff that you have on your plate, or the who gets the least amount of sleep, that's not a depiction of a hard worker. I think at the end of the day, if I'm proud of myself, and in nursing, if I benefited someone's life, whether that just be one patient that like I helped in any way, I did what I was supposed to. I put my education to good use. I am proud of myself, and I continue to have goals. And if I reach those goals in a certain amount of time, that's great. It's just staying motivated and having goals, period, makes you a hard worker, not a competition of this badge of honor of who has more going on and who's busier. So if you have something to be proud of, you have goals and are doing what you need to do to reach those goals, then you're a hard worker. And
that's everything you said was like on the money. So I like how you looked at it like that, because I never I have a big perspective, but I never looked at it like that way. So even for me, I learned something from you today that, the way you explained like that segment you just explained, it was just, it really resonated with me.
It gives everyone a little bit of a peace of mind too. You think at the end of the day, am I really fulfilling my purpose? And whether you believe in the Lord above or not, everyone questions, what is my purpose? And, if you believe in God, He has a purpose for you, and He knew that before you were even born. But if you don't believe in Him, you still have a purpose, and find what that is, something you're passionate about and something that can benefit others in the world and the community. And you do have a purpose, and you do work hard.
Right. That's what we talk about. I like that you work hard as well, and you have a message that, like I said, you're trying to, get out there. So can you tell them what the message is? Because we didn't really explain that in here. So if you can tell them exactly how, what's the message you're trying to carry out?
My message is just freedom, and having freedom in regard, whether that be in regards to fitness or food or, this busy lifestyle that everyone wants to have. It's just the freedom of finding what works for you. It's not nitpicking other people's lifestyles and taking piece by piece, copying off of someone else. It's just having that freedom, no comparison, no questions asked. You're just living your purpose, your life with full joy and positivity.
And that's what we got to do. We got to stay positive and, stay motivated, stay encouraged each day. And us being in Youngstown, I'm not sure how you look at it. I'm pretty sure it's similar. But I noticed they always taught us growing up that it was hard to work here. It's hard to live here. It's hard to do anything here. Youngstown's terrible. But honestly, I don't think it's as bad as...
I still hear that now, and I get so mad when people diss Youngstown.
It's not even as bad as
We live in a great city. We're growing. We have amazing people here. And rather than thinking, the grass is always greener, I wish we both have a mutual love for the city of Chicago, and that's a great city. But just because it's larger, has a larger population, has larger companies, doesn't bring down Youngstown at all. I think we need to lift each other up. We need to stick around a little bit. We need to have pride for our community. And
I see it coming back, though.
Better, yeah.
I see it coming back. Me being here for the last almost a year and a half. It's just it really resonated with me that I see people this is the first time I've been a grown adult living here. So it felt a little different. Looking at it now, Fridays is football during this season, and then people going to the White House fruit farm
every Saturday morning. Yeah,
and Canfield going towards Salem. I think that way. New water. I don't know the name of the city over there, but going that way, and I just noticed certain trends around here. I know it's payday on Friday.
Open your eyes a little bit. You just got to open your eyes a little bit and see the community for what. You got to get out of your little bubble. Thank goodness for social media. There's Facebook events. There's, other people lifting each other up and, taking pride in our community. You just got to open your eyes and see that Youngstown has a lot to offer. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of ways to contribute to it.
Right. I just think we maybe about 4 or 5 years behind, but it's cool.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. And I go to New York City and I'm oh my God, it's 100 years ahead. But one thing I respect about my city is it taught me, bred, you, myself, other people, like the hard work mentality. And I'm not saying everybody have it, but for people that do have it, we have that, Steel City mindset, the grind, the grit. And that's also
for what you have.
That's also stem off of the meat and potatoes. Yep. Like I got it from, here, the grind, the Steel City, the hard work and all that. Like that's like part of my mindset. And if it wasn't for, me growing up here, I wouldn't probably know. I mean, I don't know other cities, but this city here, we got to earn everything
Well, had you been in a bigger city, had you, settled in New York City, you would be working for a company that makes your clothing.
Yeah.
You built it from the ground up. I mean, here, that opportunity wasn't there for you, so you built it yourself. Right.
Just to, like, for real, like, honestly, like, I never created this brand for no one's approval, no one's attention. Like, you might think that, but if you really got to know, like, what we're about, all I ever try to do is help people. And like, I always help people. Like, that's not even, I don't even like saying I help people, but I do help people. And I like to see people, like, I like underdogs. And I told you about that before. I love when underdogs come on top.
And you got to set yourself up for success in order to bring other people up with you. So, I mean, it all comes full circle. You find your niche, you find your success, and then you're able to pick up others and bring them to your success. Yeah,
that's all I ever try to do. Like, I just like to, it might not be the way people want to see it, but it's the way that, I'm doing it. And I have to do it this way. And, God really been on my, on me lately about, and the Holy Spirit been like, you got to put the Lord into the brand, and I have been, and I've been really like consciously trying to do that. And
it's been there all along, but now you're just vocalizing.
Yep. And a good example I look up is Tim Tebow, and his mission and his purpose on earth is something I want to do with my platform, because it's kind of, he went football route, I'm more an entertainment route, so we have similar avenues. And,
I like that. Yeah.
And it's the same, basically it's the same thing. It's like really connected, and that's why we brought, you here, because your mindset is, similar. You do your own thing, but we see that, you with your cause and what you're trying to promote and your brand and the message about anorexia is something that I would love to be a part of and be associated with, because I don't ever want to see someone, not eating and I want to have a better understanding of it. So a lot of this is coming from, I want to know what people go through. So can you explain one thing before we go, like something that, you or someone else you've seen went through, particularly you though, if you can share that about something you went through with that anorexia, like something you went through.
Something I went through, I think that was the biggest pivotal moment for me, is kind of implanting myself in a city. I ended up in Chicago in treatment, and I implanted myself in a city where I had no other choice but to make my recovery and my health a priority. And you kind of have to filter out what doesn't matter and what is most important to you. And it's a big sit down that you have with yourself, and you think, where do I want my life to be and how do I get there? And I don't think people question themselves enough, and they let things go by, and they not so much waste time, but they lose sight of exactly their purpose, whether they know their purpose or not. But that's a conversation that they need to have with themselves and really invest time into that and say, are my actions fulfilling my purpose? And that's what I think a lot of people do need to ask themselves. And that was a pivotal moment for me.
And that moment is something that I just like, wow, that's, it's like one of those. And
it's a big question people don't ask often enough.
Like, wow. Yeah. What did you go through? I go through things, but like I never knew like what someone like that person went through.
Yeah.
And like that's just crazy to me. It's like
when you're at absolute rock bottom and you don't have your health and you don't have your support system around you. I mean, you're completely remolding yourself, and you're starting from the ground up.
And starting from the ground up is like what we're about too. And how can people find you, on social media? Do you have
Instagram is where I post mostly everything. I'll post, my journey. I let people into my thoughts and feelings, my past, my present. So my Instagram is just my name, Alexandra Butta. One word, Alexandra Butta is how you pronounce it, or how you spell my last name. And, I answer every message. I love getting emails. I enjoy conversation with people. So I'd be happy to, answer any questions, whether it be my present life, my past life, or anything.
And we want to thank her for taking her time out on this special day. It's Halloween. We're both in here working, and hopefully we can bring something to you guys in the next few days. Some other things we're working on, and we're looking forward to helping her reach her journey.
Yes, and helping others create the happiness that both Diesel and I have.
Yes. So thank you guys.
Thank you for having me.
This will be on at 5 a.m. I don't know how you feel about that.
Bright and early.
5 a.m. Thursday, and check us out Monday, and new music coming out next week. Diesel out.